Good afternoon, everybody. This is Derek Ecklund over here at Foundation Software, and I'd like to welcome everybody to today's webinar that we're putting on here. And as you can see on the screen, the title is HQ Product Suite Document Storage. So what I do here, my role here at Foundation is I work with all of our existing customers whenever they're interested in adding a new product or new service here, and our HQ Suite is something that I kind of oversee. And occasionally I'll do some webinars. Haven't really done one like this where I'm kind of specifically covering a newer feature that we released. But what I'll do is I'll kind of go over kind of an overview of the entire platform and with a focus on our new document storage feature. And then I'll try to keep it relatively short here, kind of just a basic overview. And then after that, we can cover any type of questions you might have. I'll just kind of leave that open here. And we'll take it from there. And as long as you are signed up for the webinar, we will be emailing out a recorded link so that you can always watch this, or if you needed to share this with anybody there at your company, be happy to feel free to do so. So that being said, let me kind of jump right into it. So pull up my screen here. So for those of you that aren't too aware, our HQ Suite is our web-based project management platform. It's been out now for about 2 years, so this is something that I've got to get used to not calling it our new project management platform just because it has been out for a couple of years. But just like we released the document storage feature, we are constantly adding enhancements and updates and features all the time. Probably every month where we're adding a feature, some larger than others. Like this month with the document storage is a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that we've done in the past. Which is probably why I'm doing this type of webinar here today. Our HQ Suite is our project management, web-based project management platform. It is something that is separate from your Foundation software. So the whole idea with this is it allows your project managers, your operations team, basically the people that are on the go, they can have access to the information that they need. They don't have to be logged into Foundation, interfere with the accounting department, getting in their way. But at the end of the day, both accounting and operations have what they need to do their jobs. And this is a product that does communicate back and forth with your Foundation database, which is probably the biggest key in why a lot of our customers are taking to this product. So this gets into 3 specific sections, 3 different parts. There's what's called ProjectHQ, there's another product called ExecutiveHQ, and then there's another product called CrewHQ. ProjectHQ is mainly where the document storage feature comes into play. That's where you get into things like RFIs, submittals, change orders. Basically, in that section, you're able to create documents, email them directly out of here, track the correspondence back and forth, and then in some cases, that's where it'll push information back into Foundation. ExecutiveHQ is a reporting tool. It basically gives your employees on the go access to job cost reporting without them ever having to log into Foundation. And then lastly, CrewHQ, that is a scheduling and labor dispatching software. So it's all part of the HQ Suite. When we do sell them, we do sell the entire suite altogether. But if you did only need CrewHQ for scheduling, or if you only needed ExecutiveHQ for reporting, you can always just start with one of those options. So that's kind of what this is. Now to kind of give you guys a kind of a brief overview of the product, what you've been looking at, this is the home page. So more of an overview page. So this is the typical home screen that a project manager, for example, would see when they log in, where they can see the most recent projects. They can look at either overdue, upcoming, or recent documents, schedule, which gets into CrewHQ, action items as far as who do you have assignments out to, what members of your team, where are they at? You can see I'm overdue a few days. I've got to go through and handle those. And then weather conditions. We're just outside of Cleveland, so yeah, we've got a stretch of beautiful weather here for this time of year. But yeah, more of an overview just for all of your projects where you're at. And there's a lot of options, without getting into too much of the granular details here, but there's a lot of options when it comes to security settings as far as what you can set and what jobs you can limit from people, even down to like what type of documents can they see. There's all of those kinds of features. But yeah, this would be more of a home page. And then down the left hand side, you get into the toolbar. Projects, that's ProjectHQ. Schedule, that would be the CrewHQ. Contacts, that would just be a list of all the different contacts that you're dealing with. Reports, that's where you get into different lists and logs, like change order log, detail schedule report, RFI log, things like that. And then down here you get into setup, where you get into setting your users and permissions. You get into designing all of your different custom forms and templates. And then there's also this integration step, which this is kind of a nice screenshot where you can see all the information that would pull over from your foundation database. So jobs along with their budgets, customers, vendors, employees. If you get into the equipment and inventory modules in foundation, those items will pull into here. Cost codes and cost classes. So those will all pull in. And then under file hosting services, this is kind of the start of the show, I guess, here today. This is we are connected to HQSuite. So now we have our own document storage tool built directly into here. We've always had the ability to tie to Dropbox, Google Docs, and OneDrive, but now fairly recently we released our own homegrown way to store different documents. Now the main part of the system is projects here. So the idea is this would pull up a list of all of your active jobs, all of your active projects, and then you can go ahead and drill into one, open one, and then it pulls up more of an overview just for this specific project, this Lake County Truss rebuild. And kind of similar to that first screen, where it's an overview for everything, same kind of idea here, but this is just narrowed down to just a particular job. So there's areas where you can come in to fill out daily logs, which you can also print out daily logs as well. The schedule, email, which this would connect to your actual email. You'd be able to email directly out of here. It would save a copy back in your default Outlook folder, for example, in addition to having records here saved for correspondence tracking. So certainly email is a big piece of the platform. But yeah, this is just a place where you can see the most recent ones, documents, action items, weather conditions based on the job's location. So yeah, very similar to that initial screen that we saw. Now moving down the left-hand side, let me just kind of go down through some of the different types of entries you can make here within our HQ suite. So first section underneath dashboard, just project details. This is all the information that would pull over from your foundation database. Couple of unique things that I always point out here. There's the ability to pull up a map view, and then there's also the ability to have a project email address. So if you ever wanted to just easily forward correspondence to save it here in HQ, that's an easy way to do it. And then resources, schedule. This will actually jump me out of this ProjectHQ section, but we can talk about CrewHQ. So this is where you get into the whole CrewHQ side of it, where you can schedule out your project, create your tasks, assign out your resources. Like if I jump into one here, it kind of has all the pertinent details of a task as far as description, dates, even times. There's address locations. You can always drop a pin on a map if you wanted to. Resources, so this is where you can pull from your list of employees. Contacts, which might be like vendors or customers, subcontractors, those types. Equipment items, material, parts, even if you have our inventory module. So this is where you're assigning your resources. There's also where you can get into predecessors and successors, custom fields, tying your tasks to budgets, miscellaneous notes. So these are all things that kind of make up the actual task, but the main idea is you're creating your task and assigning out resources, and this will actually be able to send out an email or a text notification to your employees to let them know where they're going, what they're doing, that type of thing. So that's kind of the main parts here within CrewHQ. There's also the ability to pull up a map of all the different task locations, an assignment view, so if you want to see where certain people are at, unscheduled tasks, so if you want to kind of create your tasks ahead of time, have them set over to the side, you can. But yeah, CrewHQ is the scheduling, resource management, labor dispatching part of the HQSuite platform. So that's just kind of a short overview of that. And then underneath that, is a list of team members. This can also just be called a list of your contacts that you're dealing with on the job. So you can always set these up ahead of time. You can assign out project roles, or it can just automatically add to this list as you're sending out just different documents. And then in the work management section, you get into items like action items, which, I kind of mentioned these early on, but this is where you can assign out different tasks to individuals. They can send out push notifications, as reminders, but it's a way as a project manager, you can kind of keep tabs on who's doing what on the project and I guess what the priority is, that type of stuff. Now AIAs, this is a big part of the platform. So this is the first of the different sections that'll actually update back into Foundation. The idea here is that your project managers, because they're usually the ones that are in charge of this, that know all the data, have the main correspondence back and forth with the owner or customer, they would be the ones that can create this here, from the actual schedule of values to all of the applications, emailing them out, tracking them back and forth, going back and forth and negotiating percents and dollars. But the idea is they can create this all here, print it out, even create custom templates if they wanted to, but then these would be able to push back into Foundation. These are one of the big areas that'll communicate back to your Foundation database. And for any of those areas, which I'll talk about a few more of those here in just a moment, there's always a series of checks and balances with your accounting team. So none of this information can just automatically push into Foundation and post without somebody on the accounting side having a chance to review and okay it. But it does create an increased efficiency, as far as going back and forth and, not having to deal with paper and, duplicate entry, all those types of things. But yeah, AIA worksheets is a big one. Here's where you can go back through and fill out just different daily log information. And then documents, this is where you get into RFIs, submittals. There's also the ability to create your own user-defined documents, which can really be anything. And then punch lists, the ability to create just checklists you can assign out to people and keep track of. And then cost management is where you get into a few other areas that'll actually integrate back and forth with your Foundation database. There's budgets, so all the same detail information that you would see within Foundation, just pulled into HQ here. And then there's what I always call the number one feature of HQ. This is probably the number one feature that most companies are interested in when they are initially looking at HQ is change order management. So this is where you can actually create the requests, email those out, track them back and forth, and negotiations, all of that, and then convert those requests into an actual change order that would push into Foundation. And the big key is always the detail. It's where you can actually code everything out. So there's a scope of work where you can fill out the main verbiage. You can break out that dollar amount across your different cost codes and cost classes. And then, like I mentioned there, this is where you can always hopefully mark it as approved in the near future. And then you'd be able to convert that into an actual change order that would actually allow you to push that into Foundation. And just like the AIAs, there's always that series of checks and balances that they'll have to okay before these change orders will actually revise and hit your different reports. Now, while we're here, probably good to touch base on that main topic we were talking about here, where you see attachments. That's actually on all the different types of documents. Now, I have none attached to this one just yet because we just recently released that whole document storage feature, but it's very simple to do. Right up here, I can go to upload. It can go to my camera roll, or if I'm on a computer like I am here, it can just pull up all my different files, and I'll just kind of grab maybe a daily log. That's really all there is to it. And then I can always just open that up, see it right there. Very simple. So I can upload, it saves it here. Another area down, I'll kind of touch base a little bit more, but that's kind of the main concept, is it's all part of your HQ suite. And there is no storage limits. You can save as many files as you want to, share them internally back and forth. But yeah, anytime you see attachments, that's where you can get into our document storage feature. The other item is committed costs. So this is where you get into purchase orders, subcontracts, being able to create those, code everything out, email them out, and these would also both push back into Foundation too. And for all of these different documents, I mentioned it a couple times, but just want to make clear, you have 100% control over what these templates look like. You can design them custom. You can pull in a Word or PDF or Excel or whatever type of file that you're currently using, and then just merge in the different fields there to make your life easier. So yeah, those are the main parts here in ProjectHQ. The other section down here, collaboration, just to kind of touch base a little bit more on this document storage side of it. So files, this would show all of the documents saved throughout the platform here. One thing to point out that's kind of cool is you can actually create your own custom folder. So whatever you need it to be, like I'll just call it maybe, I don't know, blueprints. We'll just say that sounds like a good one here. So we'll just create a folder, call it blueprints, adds it to the list, and then you can add these in underneath actions. If you want to copy, you can delete. If you want to upload documents, you can. Same thing. And it's like, yeah, if I want to grab one of these items here, I can do that, pull those up. But yeah, document storage is just a feature that's enhanced. Our HQSuite just makes everything all fully contained. So now, if you want to use Dropbox, Google Docs, or OneDrive and connect that to the HQSuite, by all means, that's not going to go away. So you'll always have that ability. But if you wanted to use the document storage feature here within HQ to do that, you can always go ahead and do that too. Now, the other part of our HQSuite that I haven't talked about yet is right up top here. It's called ExecutiveHQ. So this is the reporting tool. Now, similar. Now, the reason this kind of bops out to a different screen, I guess, first off, is we don't, from a user standpoint, you can have as many people on ExecutiveHQ as you want to. The way we look at it is it's really just reporting. So if you want to give this to all employees or just certain employees, it's up to you. The other side of the platform with being able to create and manage different documents, we do price based on users. And if you are interested in pricing, I'll pull up my information here in just a little bit. And you can reach out to me and we can touch base. But yeah, this is the reporting tool. So this is ExecutiveHQ. The idea is it gives you some charts up top here, basic information, billings, cost, profit. But then down the bottom half, you get into a percent complete or over under report per project, which then if you review this, which any of these columns you can sort, filter, anything you need here. But from here, if you need more information, you can drill into a job and then it pulls up just a nice dashboard with charts and graphs that you can review, drill into. This is by cost class. This here is by cost code. On the right here are by change orders, status versus income. This is just a nice variance report. Yeah, any of the charts and graphs, along with anything in blue, I can drill into. Like if I want to drill in to see what made up that dollar amount, it can pull up a detailed report. Now, there is a way, if you wanted to give this to most of your field employees, you probably wouldn't want to have it show individual employee names. So there is a way from a security standpoint, you can roll this up and just have one line for labor so it can kind of blend everybody together. But that's the idea. ExecutiveHQ just gives everybody access to job cost information without having to call into the office. So that's where we're currently at with kind of an overview of our HQSuite, kind of the new document storage feature. What's coming up next, kind of the next phase for document storage is markups. And some of you that are watching this are probably asking themselves that, hey, what about document markups? So not currently. Currently, we started with just the storage part, and then I think the idea is in a couple months to release the document markup side of it. So the idea would be you can save these documents, pull them up, market them up, submit them to somebody else internally to review, markup, what have you. So that'll be kind of what's coming next down the pipeline, just within the scope of the whole document storage side of it. So yeah, that's everything that's going on here currently with our HQ. And like I mentioned earlier, if you have follow-up questions, or if this looks like it might be a fit, this platform, or wondering about pricing, or whatever the case might be, feel free to reach out. Let me pull up my information here. We can always do hop online and go through a demo if you'd like. But yeah, my phone number is 1-800-246-0800. Email is dke@foundationsoft.com. probably the best way to get in touch with me is email, just because I'm on and off the phone throughout the day. But yeah, if you need anything at all, just feel free to reach out. And at this point, I'll turn it over to you guys, see if you have any questions, and we'll go from there. And a question just came up about users. Yeah, we do price by user. There's basically a basic package that you could add with 10 users. But if you do require more users, we do offer additional users. And these are completely separate from Foundation. So you don't need to be a user in Foundation. Actually, a lot of our customers that add HQ, they can find maybe some ways to offset that cost by reducing their current Foundation account, whether that's removing modules or users, or taking certain products off to reduce their annual maintenance fee. So yeah, there are ways to do that too. And then a question here: when will the file sharing service become available? I'm not sure if I'm on the same page, but I don't think you're probably not referring to the document storage where you can save and share documents and pictures. Yeah, that's just a matter of just uploading it here, and then anybody within your organization would be able to retrieve those, or if you wanted to send these out, email these out to third-party people, you can always do that too. And then there's a follow-up question. HQ file hosting service. Yeah, that's all currently available, so you're able to do that all now. Yeah, another question here was, is the schedule of values automatically created from the project info, or do we have to manually create it? Good question. So the AIA feature here is a few different ways to do it. It actually mirrors what you could do in Foundation. So yeah, there's always the old-fashioned where you can come in and manually key this in. There's also the option where you can import this off of a spreadsheet, or you can also pull this from your cost codes on your budget. It can become your line item. So yeah, same. All of the above, I guess, would be good. And then a question: does the information from Foundation currently transfer right over to HQ? It does. Now, it's not everything. The easiest way to look at it is, go back to the main screen under integration. So all of your main maintenance records would populate into HQ. And now going back the other way would be AIAs, change orders, purchase orders, and subcontracts. And then also if there's change orders to purchase orders or subcontracts. And when it comes to ExecutiveHQ, all this job cost information, this pulls directly out of Foundation as well. So yeah, maintenance information goes from Foundation into HQ to kind of populate and get you going on new projects. And then the idea is you're working directly out of HQ from a document management standpoint, and then going back into Foundation would be AIAs, change orders, purchase orders, and subcontracts. And maybe not all of those apply. You can always hide, maybe you don't use AIAs, or you don't want your project managers to do AIAs. You can always hide that feature so they don't have access to it. All right, I'll hang on for just a couple more minutes, make sure everybody has all their questions answered, but let me pull this up here. Yeah, if you need anything or think of anything after the fact, feel free to reach out to me there. All right, everybody, I do appreciate you spending some of your afternoon here with me talking about our new document storage feature here within HQ. Like I said, if you need anything at all, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email. But otherwise, I'll probably talk with you soon here on a webinar in the future. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your day.